Ospreys, and welcome to this week's edition of Swoop Scoop. I'm Grace DeRovi.
And I'm Grace Velez, here to bring you up to date on what's going on in the world around you. As fighting continues between Israel and Hamas, Gaza has taken a massive hit as Israeli forces continue to attack the Strip with airstrikes. In Gaza alone, the death toll has reached 3,500, and there are over 10,000 reported injuries. These numbers were provided by the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza. Rubble also lines the streets as teams work to clear the destroyed concrete and remains of buildings. The World Health Organization director shared that supplies have been stopped at the border of Gaza for days, and that the longer these supplies sit, the more lives are lost. The director also called for an all violence on both sides of the conflict to stop so that innocent lives can be spared.
2 flights have landed in Florida carrying Americans who were stranded in Israel due to the conflict. The flights carried hundreds of people and both landed in Tampa, Florida. As the passengers stepped off the plane, they were greeted by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the First Lady Casey DeSantis. The governor shared that the flights contained many families as well as young children. Florida has partnered with a nonprofit organization called Project Dynamo to bring the evacuees to Florida. DeSantis shared that they expect more planes to be arriving in Florida in the coming days.
In breaking news last week, there was a break in the longtime famous cold case of the murder of famous rapper Tupac Shakur. A suspect was arrested and now faces a longtime prison sentence. This week, the man who is accused of orchestrating the shooting, Dwayne Keith Davis, appeared in court facing the charge of murder with a deadly weapon. It is expected that the 60-year-old will most likely plead not guilty. Davis has openly placed himself at the scene of the shooting for years, claiming that he was in the front seat of a Cadillac that pulled alongside Tupac's car at the time that the shots were fired. He is currently being held on no bail. His arraignment has been postponed again and was rescheduled for November 2nd.
One neighborhood in Charleston, South Carolina is taking their Halloween decorations very seriously this year. As early as a month before the spooky holiday, residents of the Low Country neighborhood began setting up their decorations, many of which were handmade. They have also come up with some creative ways to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters, some sending down the sweet treats in slides from the second stories. Some of the houses offer photo opportunity spots where families can pose along with the amazing decorations. The neighbors have shared that their ultimate goal is to impress and bring smiles to the children who visit.
Speaking of Halloween decorations, one New England man had a clever idea for remembering businesses that have since passed on. Tombstones have been decorated with the logos of Rhode Island and nationwide businesses that are gone but not forgotten. Some of the most recognizable brands include Toys R Us, Blockbuster, and Radio Shack. He created the stones with recycled roofing insulation and a hot knife that he used to carve the designs with. His display is a hit, with some of the stones going viral. The creator of the display shares that he is taking requests for new additions for next Halloween. Hi Barbie!
Hi Barbie!
Get ready to see a lot of pink this Halloween because Google has just released data that shows that Barbie will be the most popular Halloween costume this year. A blockbuster film starring the classic doll was released earlier this year and contained many different costumes for the blonde bombshell. You might get to see some classic Barbie costumes as well as some more colorful variations such as Rollerblade Barbie.
You should also expect to see many Kens following right behind their Barbies. And if you're looking to grab your very own Barbie costume
or Ken costume,
you can find them at your local Party City or pop-up Halloween store. We have some very exciting news for Universal Halloween Horror Nights fans. Universal has just announced that they will be celebrating year-round in Sin City. They are bringing a permanent Halloween attraction to Las Vegas, and they just announced the name, Universal Horror Unleashed. The entertainment company first announced the concept of this project earlier in the year, which will feature classic horror characters such as Frankenstein and Dracula. At night, the attraction will be surrounded by horror-themed bars and restaurants. Universal has not announced an opening date quite yet.
If you're looking to bring a little bit of that Halloween spirit back home, Disney has you covered. You can invite the 3 hitchhiking ghosts to celebrate since Disney has released the summer hit movie Haunted Mansion to streaming platforms. The movie is based off of the classic Haunted Mansion attraction in the Disney theme parks and features some recognizable characters. The cast is star-studded, boasting names such as Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, and Owen Wilson. So grab some popcorn and invite the 999 happy haunts into your living room.
One Harvard student accomplished something incredible, but it might not be what you're thinking. With the help of a pumpkin, this student accomplished something amazing. To hear more about the story, we go to Ash Anders. Ash?
Benjamin Shank successfully wrote a massive 1,500-pound pumpkin across the Charles River in Massachusetts. He accomplished the incredible feat in order to raise money for a student-led bioengineering lab. He went and grabbed the pumpkin from a New Hampshire farm and brought it all the way to Cambridge. He and his friends spent 2 hours carving it out. Chang was able to get donations by offering donors the opportunity to pass the gourd along the bank before his trip across the river. Chang shares that his accomplishment inspires people to think outside the box and shows the wonders of biology. Back to you guys.
Since Halloween is coming up, there is one thing that is scarier than any Halloween costume or decoration: a bad first date. Let's go to Gene Moose of CNN to hear about one especially fishy first date.
He said he asked her out on a first date just for drinks, but what she ended up slurping were oysters. Slurping and slurping. 4 platters, totaling 48 oysters. Her date wasn't the only one. And then, after all those oysters at Fontaine's Oyster House in Atlanta, she gobbled down a crab cakes and potatoes entree. But at some point, the date deserted. And she ended up paying the almost $185 bill. Most online commenters were unsympathetic. If you eat 48 oysters in a day, you are a walrus.
This just in, snoozing your alarm might be better for you than simply waking up on the first ring. New studies show that you should not feel bad about the habit of hitting that snooze button every morning. A report that was published in the Journal of Sleep Research is showing that sleeping between snooze periods can fight against mood decline, improve cognitive function, and relieve sleep inertia. The study, which was conducted on adults, showed that most people who hit snooze were younger and not morning people. While this study is promising for late risers, scientists and doctors still recommend that everyone tries to get anywhere from 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night.
While politics tend to be a hot debate in America, there is one town in Arkansas where most people are able to agree on the perfect candidate for mayor. And who is this popular candidate? Well, his name is Miko, and he is the best boy for the job. Miko's campaign manager, Richard Ziggy Ziegler, is helping the fluffy pooch achieve his political dreams. Ziggy is hoping that Miko can one day hold the title of mayor of Anchorage. His fluffy fur and blue eyes have been winning over people all over the county. Miko will be a write-in candidate, and the entire town is rooting for him.
For now, this has been this week's edition of Swoop Scoop. Be sure to tune in next week to get the latest scoop on the breaking news. I'm Grace DeRovi.
And I'm Grace Velez. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.